Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And we are going to watch a movie real soon.
Really soon, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little movie called Mulan. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have heard of it. I've been waiting for it.
Excellent. Yes. Mulan was supposed to have come out March 27th. So it was canceled just 2 weeks before its date. And in fact, it already had its premiere. So, all of that hype had already been trucked out. And then they hit the brakes on it. And so Disney has taken the kind of unprecedented step of deciding to just release this thing on Disney Plus. Not just Disney Plus. If you live in a country that doesn't have Disney Plus, you may be getting a theatrical release. I know China is. But Disney Plus members, so you will have to have a monthly subscription, and then you will have to pay a fee on top of it. So it sounds like in North America, at least, that fee is going to be about $30. It might be a little less in other places. But unlike other home premieres that movies have had, where basically you rent the movie for your $20, this is a rental as well, but you get more than 24 hours with it. You get it indefinitely. As long as you keep up your Disney Plus membership, you will have that movie. So you can watch it, rewatch it. So that's a little extra bonus.
Yeah, it's a bit better model. It's an interesting one because you don't actually own it forever, right. Unless you keep subscribing to Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. But definitely preferable to the 24-hour release for $30. Mm-hmm. Makes it a little more palatable.
Yes. And I know especially a lot of parents would have liked to see this model with something like Trolls World Tour. When that's $20 a pop, but your kids want to watch it nonstop. It would have been nice to have that option. But we're kind of learning as we go. Nobody's really done this before, so there you have it.
I think it's it's an interesting model by Disney. Mm-hmm. We'll see whether they keep doing it, whether it's successful for them.
That's the thing. It will probably depend on whether they recoup their costs on this. But I think it's not just the rental price, but getting new people to sign up to Disney Plus, which is a huge boon to them.
Yeah, it is.
So that's a significant investment, and I know they will be happy to see that if they see it. I know they will from our house.
Yes, they will.
So that is September 4th. The wait is almost over. The wait is almost over. So we are having a giveaway to celebrate Mulan, who's finally getting her due all these months later. We're really excited to see this blockbuster. I really liked the movie as a kid. I still love the Disney movie, the animated version. But this live action is not a remake like all of the others have been. So there is a departure here. They are not following the classic Disney tale. They are following the Chinese myth more closely. So there are going to be elements that are gone that you may be familiar with from the animated version. And also keep in mind that this is going to be a war movie. Mulan is a warrior, so it's got a PG-13 rating. It's not going to be suitable for very young children.
Good to know.
Good to know, I know.
Because that also is a departure from Disney's other quote, live action remakes that they've done. Mm-hmm.
That's right. So we have lost some things and gained some things. I think we can probably live with the losses. Number one, Mushu. The little dragon voiced by Eddie Murphy in the animated version. Obviously, he's a classic, cute Disney sidekick, but it didn't sit right with a lot of Chinese audience. It's not culturally appropriate, and so they took him out and they have put a phoenix in his place. A phoenix being a sign of peace and prosperity in the Chinese culture. In keeping more with the sort of historical accuracy, I guess we can say, We are no longer calling the invaders the Huns, because that didn't really work out time-wise. They are now the Ruren. So it makes sense for all of you history buffs who, some people just get a little itchy when stuff in movies doesn't add up to what you know to be true, because you read it in a book. Yeah. So they're trying to repair some of those mistakes.
That's good.
Yes, and this movie will not be a musical. Of course, the animated one is, but they do intend to use a lot of the songs that we know from the first one, just incorporated into the score.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Because it certainly tonally would be very difficult to imagine a serious war movie that has these songs in it.
That's right. Christina Aguilera has re-recorded a new version of her song Reflection that was in the first movie, and it will play over the credits of this one, but she's re-recorded it, so it's a new version.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that song sort of catapulted her career. Now, by the time that movie came out, we knew who Christina Aguilera was. But of course, Disney had looked for her years before when they first started making the movie. Because there's a note in that song that almost no one can hit, and she could, even as a kid. So that ability to hit that note kind of made her career, gave her the Disney edge, which is a good edge to have.
Yes.
And so she was very happy to come back and re-record it. And of course, we saw quite a bit of her during quarantine when Disney would have those sing-alongs, the family sing-alongs.
Yeah, she was in 2 of them.
Mm-hmm. So she's not only re-recorded that song, but you may have heard a single that's already out called Loyal, Brave, True. That's also by Christina Aguilera.
Haven't heard it, but...
No, I knew you would have. All right, so let's get down to business. Director Nikki Caro, not the studio's first choice. They asked Ang Lee. And Ang Lee turned them down. He turned them down because he was going to be busy promoting Billy Lynn's long halftime, whatever.
No, he didn't. Oh, that movie was such a disappointment.
I know. This was probably not the right move for Ang Lee.
It's too bad
because he believed in his movie, and so
he does some good stuff. I don't mean to disparage him. I would have liked to see his take on it, but here we are. Yeah.
So Nikki Caro has worked with Disney before. She directed McFarland USA. The one
running movie?
Yes, Kevin Costner is a football coach who ends up being a track coach. But taking over the helm of Mulan, Nikki Caro becomes the first, or not the first female, but the female director with the highest budget. So we have heard 200 million. It's at least 200 million because they have been talking about numbers bigger than that for quite some time. So this was a big, big budget movie.
Which I think you have to have if you're going to do a war epic.
That is true. So, like I said, this movie was canceled less than 2 weeks from when it was supposed to have come out. So there were already some critic reviews out who have called it majestic and thrilling. So we can already anticipate that this is going to be a good movie and actually meet the expectations and the anticipation that we feel for it.
I feel like Disney definitely has the confidence in it to do something they've never done before with it, and also not to release it for free on Disney Plus. And part of that is the budget, but they dumped Artemis Fowl on there, and that was not a cheap movie, I know.
That's true. But the one and only Ivan came out, and that was a good movie.
That's true. So you can't always measure it that way.
They are investing into their platform, which is great. And I think it is also great whether or not there is a simultaneous theatrical release to make this available. For those of us who don't want to go into theaters, we can pay that price and watch it at home, and I do love that option.
It is a good option, especially because we're not all in the same place, even across North America.
That's right.
It is very different from one area to another.
And even though we live in a city that's doing quite well and has opened back up and theaters are open, since I am high risk, I am continuing to isolate. And so individually, people have to make their decisions, and we can't always do what we would really like to do.
No. So it's good to have the
Just
options.
ask Ang Lee. Yes. So Mulan is the story of a young Chinese woman who disguises herself as a man in order to take her father's place in war. So he is actually, her father is already disabled from a previous war, and I do sort of wonder how they're going to work that into this movie, because even as a kid in the animated film, you know, we see other soldiers who just weren't cutting the mustard get booted out. So I'm pretty sure if old man Mulan showed up with his cane, he would have been excused, and then nobody from the Fa family would have had to go to war. But anyways, Mulan is super brave. She gets shit done. And yeah, she's doing it again. So we just talked about Ang Lee. Another person who was offered a role was Jet Li.
Oh, cool.
So of course a movie like this is going to attract some big talent, and they asked Jet Li to take a role, but it was a small role with smaller pay, or smaller than he thought, you know, his name would suggest. So he wasn't really up for it. And it was actually his daughters who convinced him to take it, and said, you know, this is a big moment for Chinese culture, and to shine that light, and not just for China, but for everyone over here to really get to be immersed in that culture, and to reappreciate Mulan for maybe how she should have been portrayed in the first place. So he will be playing the Emperor in the movie.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. A recognizable face and Kung Fu legend.
Yes. Ironically, not in a role that needs any of it.
No.
That's all right. The director of photography, Mandy Walker, has said of the star, the lady who plays Mulan, Liu Yifei, that she does like 90% of her stunts in this movie. So casting Mulan was quite an endeavor.
I bet it was.
You may know. At the time, the controversy surrounding whitewashing in Hollywood was being very vocal. There was a lot of, and there have been waves of this for years now. So Disney was hyper conscious of their need to cast Chinese people in Chinese roles. And this movie is all Chinese. So they saw thousands of women for this, because they needed someone who was going to be physically fit enough to pull off the training and the martial arts that you need to be in this movie, but could also speak English and had Chinese ancestry. So though that's a tall order, and you know, Disney doesn't do things halfway. You have to be really, really good. This is a huge budget, so they're not going to trust this to just anyone. So Liu Yifei was born in Wuhan, a province of China you may have never heard of before, before it seems to have been ground zero for a certain pandemic whose name shall not be said. She moved to the US with her mother when she was 10 years old and stayed there for about 4 years, which accounts for how good her English is. She has been on lots of TV shows. She's also a model. I'm sure you will be unsurprised to hear. Also a musician. She's got an album out which features both rap and soft rock. And she does actually provide the Mandarin version of Reflection, the song by Christina Aguilera.
Oh, that's
right.
Interesting.
She was able to do that herself, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, it is.
So they sifted through 1,000 women, auditioning everyone to find the perfect Mulan who could do all of these things. And so it is kind of impressive when you hear somebody say like 90% of these stunts, because they cover everything from sword fighting and horseback riding and of course martial arts, which have to be on point.
They do.
Yeah. So she's gonna be exciting. And it's gonna be beautiful. Because do you know where this film was shot?
No, I don't. Was it China?
Beautiful New Zealand.
Okay.
There are some shots in mainland China, but mostly in New Zealand.
Yeah, well, that is a beautiful place, as we've seen in many movies before.
That's right. So, you know, look forward to that too. See if you recognize any of
any Hobbit caves?
Yeah, see if anything's changed since the last time you were there, cinematically. So we talked about a couple of the changes they're making, and a big one was removing Li Shang.
Is that her boyfriend?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So Li Shang is in fact her commander, her leader in the army. And they kind of fall in love. So Disney, of course, this is also the era of Me Too, and they were a little wary of that, the imbalance in that relationship. They felt it was maybe an uncomfortable relationship, that her boss would be hitting on her during war. So the characters have been, or the character of Li Shang has been split into two characters in the movie. So the first will be Commander Tung, who will be strictly her super platonic mentor and boss, as they should be.
Keep it professional.
As they should be, that's right. Played by Donnie Yen, who you may remember and appreciate as the blind warrior in Rogue One.
I do remember and appreciate him.
Of course,
he was awesome.
That was a crazy awesome scene.
Yeah.
So he has been in the Disney family already. You know, Disney likes to
keep him in house.
Yeah. And then Yosun An will be playing the other character who is her equal in the troupe. So I think
fair game,
a little
for
more
a love
appropriate.
interest.
I think that's probably what we can expect. So Disney has done so much to avoid controversy, and so they were super, super surprised when that move met with controversy.
You can't win.
You can't win. But the thing about Li Shang is that the LGBTQ plus community loved him because he fell in love with Ping.
Oh, yeah.
Ping is Mulan's male counterpart. So there was like a bisexual vibe to it, right? Like they started having chemistry and feelings when she was dressed as a man.
Okay.
And so, because Disney doesn't like to actually make gay characters, the gay community has, been able to spot them. Like Scar in The Lion King and Li Shang. And
but can't we still have that?
Well, they took him out. He's gone.
I know, but there's still going to be a love interest, so couldn't it be the same angle?
Well, you gotta watch and find out.
I guess we'll see.
We'll see. But Li Shang, I'm gonna miss him. He was hot stuff, man. Whew. So, September 4th. This is actually happening. It's coming quick. Are you excited?
I am excited. I'm looking forward to this. I think this is one of the big movies of 2020 that we've been waiting for. And yeah, those are finally starting to come out. Excellent.
It is kind of nice to see them finally rolling out, even if it has to be like this, and I'm kind of glad it is.
Yeah.
So yes, we are so glad about Mulan that we are doing a giveaway. The contest is open to everyone here internationally. So if you would like to be entered, we've got some great Mulan stickers. A fun Funko Pop of Mulan. This is from the new movie. This is Warrior Mulan. Love her. And a book. A Mulan book. This is actually a twisted tale. So this is not from the Mulan story that you know, but it uses her, and the characters have like a sidebar adventure. So it's a really cool read. So if you would like to be entered, please just let us know in the comments. Say you want to be entered into the contest, and you will be. And on September 4th, we will have a Mulan review for you, and we will announce the winner there. So please stay tuned for that.
I will.
I'm glad to hear that. I really am. That's nice, John. I'm glad you tune in.
I'd like to tune in, yes.
See what's up.
Yeah.
What the people are saying.
Yeah,
what I'm saying. What you're agreeing to.
What I'm saying. Everything.
Everything. Whoa. All right. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.